Tonight, we are speaking with Dr. George Forgan-Smith, who will describe the meaning and what is involved in accessing some of the available HIV treatments. I've heard the term PEP and PrEP. Would you explain these, please?
Absolutely. There is a number of terms that are being used around HIV prevention, and that is PEP and PrEP. PEP stands for post-exposure prophylaxis, and PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis. So with PEP, what we're talking about is if somebody's had an episode of sex that may have been risky, that could have led to possible transmission of HIV, if you can see a doctor within 72 hours, there's a treatment regime that will help reduce the risk of contracting HIV. And that's usually 1 or 2 medications, usually a combined tablet taken for a month, and that will help prevent any potential infection with HIV if you may have been exposed. With PrEP, we're actually talking about a medical treatment that can actually help reduce the risk of being infected with HIV if you have sexual intercourse with partners who may be HIV positive. With PrEP, it's a fairly new technology, but it's very, very promising because what we've found in the research is that effective use of PrEP with a tablet taken every day, if that's done reliably, it can reduce the risk of HIV infection by 98 to 99%.
What does PEP do?
The way that PEP works is that it is an identical treatment to those that people living with HIV have. So there's a combination of medicines that help stop HIV from being able to replicate within the cells and to be able to propagate within the cells. It's believed that if we use this treatment, it can help stop people from actually becoming infected with HIV. It's not a very pleasant thing to have to go through. There's a number of testing that has to be done. You need to get a full sexual health screening before you start, as well as full sexual health screening after you've continued the month's worth of treatment. However, we do know that it does help reduce the risk of becoming infected with HIV. For this reason, there's a limited number of places that you can go to access PEP. There's a great website that's called getpep.info, and from there they can direct you to a number of different centres that you can get the PEP treatment. Here in Melbourne, you can go to Melbourne Sexual Health. You can go to majority of the hospital emergency departments. However, the Melbourne Hospital, the St Vincent's Hospital and the Alfred are all very familiar with PEP, and it's almost like a grease chute there. They have a good understanding and they can help make it an easier process for you to be able to access that. Also, if you know any doctors that are looking after people living with HIV, they can give you guidance and direction to get the PEP started. The most important thing, though, is that it's most effective when taken before 72 hours after exposure. The sooner, the better. So if you've had an exposure in the evening and you're concerned or you're worried, head straight to one of the emergency departments to be able to discuss the treatment options available to you.
So in that case, you don't have to pre-arrange, you can just turn up.
Just turn up and explain to the people what's happened, and they have a good understanding and they'll be able to counsel you, explain to you what is needing to be done, and then help you start the process of getting the medications to treat you for the next month.
What is involved in PrEP?
So PrEP is taking a daily medication to help reduce the risk of being infected with HIV. Currently, the recommendation would be a single tablet of a medicine called Truvada, and this is a particular combination medicine that's used also for people living with HIV. We know that if you take it every day, it can greatly reduce the risk of HIV infection. So there's a number of things that we need to check before you start this particular medication. The most important one is you need to get a HIV test to show that you are HIV negative. If you start PrEP and you're HIV positive, that can be leading to issues with regards to resistance. So for that reason, it's very important that we know that you are confirmed HIV negative before you start the medications. Other things to know is what's your kidney function like, and to get a bit of a health screen before you start, and that way we can be sure that you are not going to be harmed by the medication.
Who should I talk to about PrEP?
If you want to talk to people about PrEP and you're wanting to explore that, good places to start would be your local sexual health clinic or people who are familiar and regularly treating people who live with HIV. So there's a number of HIV centres here in Melbourne Sexual Health, the Prahran Market Clinic and Northside Clinic. They have a lot of doctors that help people with HIV, and I soon too will be accredited to be looking after people with HIV.
Thank you, Dr. George Forgan-Smith. Thank you very much.
No worries.